Well, joining me to discuss Ron Paul's popularity among young voters is Mary Willison. Mary is a Ron Paul supporter and volunteer organizer for the Ron Paul Los Angeles Liberty headquarters. Nice to see you, Mary. So Ron Paul, he hasn't won a single caucus yet, but he's not giving up, is he? And neither are his fans.
No, he's not giving up. We're only halfway through this, and Ron Paul is in this to win this. And actually, it's incorrect, Liz. He did win the caucus in the Virgin Islands, and since then, in many other states, he's had the strongest showing as far as delegates are concerned, and we know that that's what actually wins the race.
Now, at this point, Mary, many people would say that Ron Paul is likely, it's not likely that he's going to make it to the White House. And if that ends up being the case, what is next for Ron Paul and his followers and this whole movement?
Well, like I said, we're only halfway through this, Liz, and Ron Paul is not giving up, and neither are the people giving up on him. As you just saw and showed, you know, the crowds are growing. 3,000 to 5,000 are showing up everywhere he speaks, and it's growing every day. And as people are waking up and realizing that the Democratic and Republican parties are private organizations, members only, who are running our elections, people are realizing that they are being taken for granted and they want change. So every day more and more people are waking up to this, and it is a revolution, and it's an intellectual revolution. And Ron Paul's campaign strategy has been brilliant, actually. It's genius. And so just because the mainstream media is saying that he hasn't got a chance, that's completely unfactual. And you just wait, just watch, see how many delegates show up for Ron Paul at that convention.
And so how successful would you say that he has been, Mary, in changing the dialogue in mainstream politics? Because many say that that's kind of one of his biggest accomplishments so far, is his ability to bring attention to these topics that are overlooked. Absolutely.
He's done a remarkable job at bringing up the things that really do matter. You know, in these debates, the things that these other politicians are talking about, none of them represent change. Ron Paul is the only one who has ideas and solutions and an economic plan to restore America now, not 30 years from now, not 30 years more of the same, and then let's hope that things change. No, Ron Paul has plans to change things right now.
And we just saw in Chrissy's package there, her piece there, she went to that Ron Paul event last night, and he has a huge following from young people. So does this show kind of a shift or a changing attitude in America? And maybe if he doesn't win this time around, what the voters are going to be looking for in the next, let's say, 20 years?
Well, Ron Paul does definitely dominate the youth vote as well. He has probably the strongest support from the self-declared independents, which are the largest voting bloc in America, the decline to state voters. But I saw a mixed crowd. All the audiences of thousands that are showing up to see him and hear him speak all over the country right now, I'm seeing very mixed crowds. You know, people project that, you know, this is only the youth that supports him. Definitely the youth are more awake to what's really going on in the political system and our economy, paying attention and listening to what's happening in other economies around the world. If our country is about to bail out Europe, things like that affect us, and we're paying attention to that. But a large block of voters from an elder demographic don't know this. They don't have the news. I speak to voters every day, and I find out that some of them don't have access to the internet. The news and the history and the facts that they take for truth are not always true. What we're being taught in school and what our media tells us, and we just take for fact and believe them, is oftentimes just completely infactual, just like the way that they're trying to portray Ron Paul at the bottom of the chart as far as this election is concerned. He's not.
Now, Mary, it looks like you are definitely keeping the faith with Ron Paul, and we are getting farther and farther along in this election process. So at this point, what will it take for Ron Paul to win the nomination?
It takes everybody showing up. People show up to the polls, talk to your neighbors, family, friends and coworkers. Everybody needs to get registered to vote. As a Republican, I'm in California. We have the Ron Paul campaign has launched an official website, ronpaullosangeles.com, and there's an initiative called Register for Ron. The goal is to register 20,000 new Republicans by May 21st. So that they can vote in the June 5th election. I'm seeing new voter registrations come through every day. People are defecting from the Democratic Party, and people are from independents and libertarians and every other party. People are willing to come over and sign up in order to vote for Ron Paul because he's the only candidate who really does represent change and solutions.
And it sounds like for Ron Paul supporters like yourself that he is the only option. If he weren't to win the nomination, where then would his supporters turn to?
Well, the thing is, his supporters are already right now running for local office at all levels. I think almost everybody I know is currently running for office. So people are getting involved. He's woken so many people up. His ideas have manifested into something. People are taking action now. You can't sit around and let others make the decisions for you. You have to get in there
Mary,
if you want to make a change.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you on the show as always. We're just out of time. That was Mary Willison, a Ron Paul supporter and volunteer organizer for the Ron Paul Los Angeles Liberty headquarters.